Round 3 stimulus checks are coming. Is it economically irresponsible to not spend it? I mean, it's meant to stimulate the economy, right? What have we learned from the impact that the last stimulus checks have had on our economy? Let's get into it right now. Hello there, I'm Caleb, and I'm honored that you've joined me today. With the third round of stimulus checks being sent out, I've been curious how the first two rounds have impacted our economy, specifically in terms of personal finance. Despite these being stimulus checks, the National Bureau of Economic Research actually found that of those surveyed on the use of their checks, only 15% reported that they spent the majority of it. Another third of the people said that they saved the check, and then the rest said that they put it towards debt repayment. Of course, many of these people split their use between the three categories. But that 15% surprised me. It seems really low for the number of people that were saying that you should go out and help the economy with the money that you received. Economists say that during an economic downturn, people tend to stock up their savings a bit more. Not surprising at all. What did surprise me from my research is that there were fewer people than I expected that said that not spending the stimulus checks was hurting the economy. This was, I think, for a number of reasons. For one, the National Bureau of Economic Research noted in their study that the downturn in the economy provided fewer options for the spending of money. Even for those who were ready to spend money, restaurants weren't working at full capacity, many stores were closed, and non-essential activities were not operating. Guess it's another at-home date night of hitting the like button, sweetheart. Second, I think many people realize that the pandemic has been incredibly personal. Personal financial problems result in personal financial decisions, not necessarily decisions that are best for the greater economy. And third, many economists and people in the financial trenches have a broader understanding of the economy and how it pertains to people's personal finance. Greg McBride, the chief financial analyst for Bankrate, said this in a recent NBC article. This is the short view versus the long view. In the short view, stimulus money put in savings or used to pay down debt may not give an immediate boost to the economy, but households that have more savings and less debt are in a better position to spend on a consistent basis going forward. He continued by saying, even among people who don't have immediate plans to spend that money, that doesn't mean it's not going to get spent. I thought that this was an incredibly insightful viewpoint. McBride makes it clear that he doesn't have a problem with increasing savings and paying down debt with stimulus checks. Furthermore, in the same article, the NBC contributor mentions the possibility that once the pandemic is over, the extra savings may supercharge extra spending. Contrary to what has been thought in the past year, it seems that the stimulus checks may go more towards long-term economic recovery than the short-term. So what do we take away from this? To answer that question, I want to show you what your impact is on this economy. But first, we gotta thank our sponsor, Metal Roofs. With the price of roofs, we decided to just replace ours ourselves, and it turned out really nice. Cut to drone photos. Yeah, gorgeous, beautiful. Look at the sunshine reflecting off that steel. This roof cost only $8,000. That and the literal blood, sweat, and almost tears of me and 11 other family and friends. It looks really nice and the materials are cheaper, but only 1 out of 10 would recommend doing a roof yourself. And I am not that one. Okay, as the next stimulus checks arrive, keep this in mind. You are your own microeconomy. Economies get smaller and smaller as you move down the ladder. If you look at the world economy, you see the economic impact of nations on other nations. You move a little bit closer and you see our own national economy and how money moves between sectors and geographies. Zoom in again, you see our state's economy. Again, we move in closer and we see the local economy and money in the hands of the people that we know and love. Zoom in once more and we see the economy of our own household. It's like each household is its own little nation. We've got our own GDP, we've got our little imports and exports. There's exchanging of goods, money comes in and money goes out. When you look at economics, you can see how improving a smaller economy makes an impact on the economy at large. If industry increases and unemployment decreases, Ohio's economy improves, which only helps the national economy of the United States. It's got ripple effects into other states and industries. And so it stands to reason that the microeconomies of our own households also work in the exact same way. When we're overextended, when we're spending too much, when we're putting money towards debt, it hurts our own personal microeconomy. And it trickles into other economies as well. Local, state, national, and world. My point is this, we don't have to spend our stimulus checks because they're stimulus checks. What we should do is improve our own microeconomy so that it influences the economies higher up. And much of that improvement can come from saving money and paying down debt. It seems a little bit counterintuitive given that they're stimulus checks, but as Greg McBride says, just because the money isn't spent now doesn't mean that it won't be spent in the future. Just because I'm not buying Dr. Pepper now doesn't mean I'm not going to buy it in the future. Having said that, how should you handle your next stimulus check? If you're in a circumstance where your money is particularly tight, especially with no job, focus on your 4 walls first. That's food, utilities, housing, and transportation in that order. The number one priority is to make sure that you have all 4 of these categories covered. We want to ensure that we're all eating. We got to make sure that our electric, water, and gas stays connected in our apartments and houses. We want to stay up to date on our mortgage and rent. Got to keep that metal roof over our heads. And we got to make sure that our transportation is taken care of so that we can continue going to work and making money. Here's another video I made during the last wave of stimulus checks where I covered the 4 walls in greater detail. We got the 4 walls taken care of. Next we look at the starter emergency fund. Do you have $1,000 saved for emergencies? Put your stimulus towards that if not. It's not going to feel like much because it isn't, but it will provide you a little cushion as you move into the next baby step of personal finance. Which, by the way, here's an overview video of Dave Ramsey's baby steps for reference. If you've got a consistent source of income, the next step is paying off all non-mortgage debt. After that, you can build a full 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Only then should you start investing for retirement. Now, I know how tempting it is to just take that stimulus money and throw it in the stock market or Bitcoin because of how it's going up. But don't, not when you have bills and debts and no emergency fund. As I've said in a previous video, you might feel like you're missing out on the market and the magic of compound interest. But paying off debt has the same effect as investing when it comes to your net worth. Both increase net worth, and mathematically you experience the same benefits of compound interest with both. Except when paying off debt, you're lowering your risk. Once you get that fully funded emergency fund, you can determine how you're going to spend the rest of your stimulus check. Put it towards baby steps 4, 5, and 6 where you're saving for retirement, saving for kids' college, and paying more on the house. Or you can increase your generosity and give to someone or an organization that clearly needs the help right now. However you choose, you've got some options. Just don't let the unnecessary options like going on a shopping spree take precedence over the necessary options like stocking up on chocolate milk. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that you shouldn't support your favorite local restaurant. I get it, small businesses need our help. But don't use the pandemic as an excuse to spend money when you've got your own financial problems. And so let me pass this question on to you. How do you plan to spend your stimulus check? I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. And if you found value in this video, I'd really appreciate a like because this video took a lot longer to prepare for than most of my videos. And hit that subscribe button and notification bell while you're down there. And remember, money doesn't have to be confusing. You can control it. My tiny desk and I will see you on Friday.